Hi everybody, my name is David Neighbor. Welcome to my webinar, which is titled A Silent Spring in Review, The Impacts of Rachel Carson's Famous Silent Spring. Some key talking points of the webinar. First I'll go over a little bit of the background on Rachel Carson. Then we'll go over the state of the environment during the time period, which would be the 1960s and the years prior to that. Then we'll go over some of the key points of the book. I'll give my brief analysis of the book, and this will be brief for the purpose of this webinar. Then we'll also go over some lasting impacts of the book. A little bit of background on Rachel Carson. Rachel Carson was a former marine biologist with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Carson wrote other environmentally based books such as Under the Sea and Wind, The Sea Around Us, and The Edge of the Sea. Carson was often not taken seriously in the time leading up to the book because she was a woman and had a degree in biology, which was not held in very high regards in this time period. Fast forward to today, it would be held in very high regards, but back then it wasn't taken as seriously, unfortunately. Carson began her writing career with the Baltimore Sun. Her book, The Sea Around Us, first brought her national attention and won her several awards, including the National Book Award for Nonfiction. Carson was influential and was important to the start of the environmental movement. A little bit on the state of the environment prior to the book. There were many big issues that were coming to light, such as the use of insecticides and chemicals, bomb testing effects, oil spills, and industrial pollution of lakes, streams, and soil. Incidents such as the Cuyahoga River fires, with the river literally caught fire from pollution, along with many other disasters, brought the issues to the public eye. Modern synthetic insecticides, such as the most well-known, DDT, were being used for agricultural purposes. DDT was proven to have both environmental and toxicological effects on humans and wildlife. DDT has proven to be very persistent in the environment, and many animals still carry traces of it today. Some key points of the book. Carson sets the tone early with a fictional tale of a small town in the United States that was once beaming with wildlife and happy people, but eventually wildlife and humans began to die off due to the pesticides. This helps paint pesticides, insecticides in a negative manner and sets the tone for the rest of the book. Carson provides information to convince the reader that the humans are impacting the environment in a negative way with the use of dangerous chemicals such as DDT. The book highlights how chlorinated hydrocarbons such as DDT are magnified in fat cells and are easily passed along in the food chain. Carson also discusses the adverse effects insecticides have had on Earth's water and how water treatment is ineffective in treating the insecticides. She goes on to explain the many other effects insecticides have had on Earth, from the soils to the plants and to the rivers. My brief analysis of the book. The book is written in a pretty effective manner. Carson paints the picture with a fictional tale in the beginning, then describes insecticides' effects on the different aspects of the environment. This really did set the tone for the rest of the book for me, personally, and I think it did for most other readers as well. Carson is right on the effects that chlorinated hydrocarbons such as DDT have on wildlife. Studies have since proven the effects, such as how the thinning of a bald eagle's shells from DDT caused the population decline. Luckily, that population has been brought back since the banning of DDT. Carson is effective in explaining that these chemicals can't be used in a controlled manner. She discusses how runoff of DDT and DDE caused a mass poisoning of birds, fish, and phytoplankton in a protected zone. Carson admits that pests can be a problem, but urges the reader to side with taking safe actions against pests rather than spraying harmful chemicals. This shows the reader that there are other options, and she tries to push them to go towards those options rather than the harmful insecticides. Carson also discusses the many effects on human health that the chemicals bring. This raises concern to the reader, who is then faced with the reality that these chemicals could harm them as well. Carson guilts the reader and society as a whole by providing examples of how man is ruining the environment that we depend on to live and how we place limited importance on plants and animals, although we depend on them for our survival. This is effective in convincing the reader that action needs to be taken before it is too late. Lastly, the lasting impacts of the book. The book contributed to the creation of the United States Protection Agency. Obviously, it wasn't the sole reason, but it did play a small role. It helped move a ban on the domestic uses of DDT. Many animal populations made a comeback, with the most famous being the bald eagle. The book brought environmentalism to the forefront of the public eye and made people realize the importance of the environment. Many environmental laws were passed after the book, including the Clean Water and Clean Air Act. The book helped spark the movement that would lead to the creation of these laws. And that's the end of my presentation. Thanks for watching.